What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of The 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to 8 Below. Thanks for being here, guys, to the best gaming related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. In this first segment of the show, I want to talk about Pokemane, guys. This is a very famous YouTuber, Twitch streamer, and I want to talk about her whereabouts. What happened to Pokemane, and what is she doing at this point in time? Obviously, she took a long, extended hiatus from streaming and such, and with that being said, there have been people asking the question, what happened here? And now she's, come back to the scene, and what that looks like, and what can we expect from her in the future? So let's talk about it. So, guys, according to her official Twitter account, she tweets pretty regularly for the most part, which is pretty much the very first, the first thing that you really look at to see if they're active on social media, that being an influencer, personality. If we look at her, if we look on Dexterto actually put out an article, guys, written by Isaac McIntyre, taking and calling it Pokemane is taking extended break from Twitch streaming. So Pokemane is taking an extended break from Twitch in September after revealing she's been struggling with burnout unlike any other. She's been burnt out in the past, but don't worry, Pokemane fans, your stream queen has already locked in a return date. So she already said that she was going to come back, guys. And that she was going to come back to the scene in a pretty major way. She said that she really needed this, that being just a break. She's been enjoying her time back home so much that I extended my stay a bit. And then she said that she would resume her streams in September. Now, the last time Pokemane went live on Twitch was Sunday, August 22nd, to end her stream. Pokemane explained it would be good to get off the PC for a while. She also teased major plans for September. So this is what we can say about that is if we go to her Twitch channel, she has been streaming pretty regularly, guys. I mean, she just streamed just as soon as a day ago, and she pretty much streams, every couple of days, and she gets a lot of viewership. Let's just put it that way. Primarily just chatting is what she does, but Pokemane is this influencer, a massive personality, and a lot of people just like it when she just sits there in front of the camera and talks to her audience. And that's what I love about her as well. And so she's amassed a following of 8.5 million followers. Absolutely incredible. Huge kudos to her. It just shows that her work ethic has worked over the course of time. She'll stream for, it really seems like she's averaging, anywhere between 4 to 8 hours per stream, which is absolutely incredible. And obviously, it shows just based on her numbers and all of that. She really does care about her community in a major way. Now, this also leads us to another thing, which I think is important to talk about, which is burnout, guys. Twitch star, obviously, the burnout issues. Pokemon's extended Twitch break has been coming for some time now, with the stream queen admitting several times recently she's very burnt out, and at one stage even suggesting she was ready to give up for good. It's time for change, is what she declared on August 17th. I just find myself doing so many things that I'm not excited about. All these years I've been living my life and framing it in such a way where I avoid having any regret, but avoiding regret does not mean you are pursuing what you want. Those are two very, very different things. And so let's talk about burnout a little bit, guys, because this is something that hits a lot of big, personalities over time. Whether we're talking on Twitch, obviously, guys, Twitch is one of those platforms where you really have to put a lot of time into it to really start seeing results. And for a lot of these, these stars and personalities, it just can really drain you over time. I've tried it myself with streaming a decent amount, and it does really take a toll on you when you're trying to stream a lot, when you're trying to create content to put on YouTube or whatever the case may be. It does, over time, it can really just start to drain you as a person. Because a lot of times with Twitch, the thing about it is you want, the more you're live, the more you're going to be able to make, and the more you're going to be able to build your following. And a lot of times, burnout I see happen way more on Twitch than we do on YouTube, just because YouTube, you can kind of go at your own pace. It's just if you upload like one time per day, usually is a really good thing, or at least a couple of times a week. Whereas with Twitch, it's like you got to be live for a certain period of time to really make an impact, so to speak. And so that's where the burnout really comes in, guys. It's definitely a real thing, especially for a lot of these major, huge personalities that want to keep their numbers high when it comes to Twitch. In order to do that, they've got to be live a lot. So Pokemane currently boasts just under 8.2 million followers on Twitch and has 4.6k subscribers to her name for September so far. In May this year, the streaming star asked her fans to stop subscribing to her each month and capped her on-stream Twitch tips to around just $5 USD a pop. But with that being said, guys, I think that, she took this extended break, and it was something that really came down to burnout. Obviously, she even mentioned that burnout was the major thing that really took a toll on her from a streaming perspective and a content perspective. And so I think that this hits a lot of these stars, at different points in time, and they just need a break to kind of get their head right, and then they're able to come back really like just feeling refreshed and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, guys, Pokemane, she's back. She's been streaming pretty regularly, and I'm really happy to see that because she does really care for her community. You can just tell by the amount of hours she's putting in, and a lot of people out there, sometimes she's misunderstood in a number of ways, but I really think that it's an awesome thing that she's back. And, who knows where the plan is for her moving forward into 2022. It'll be interesting to say the least. But what do you guys think about this? What do you think really happened here? What do you attribute the issues or the break that was Pokemone's break on Twitch? What do you guys think it was? Burnout, or what do you think it was something else? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more content and videos, guys, stay here with Zero TV. With the new year, guys, I wanted to go ahead and talk about StarCraft 3. Is this a title that we're going to get an announcement in 2022, or where could StarCraft be heading in the future? So let's talk about it, guys. We have talked ad nauseum on the YouTube channel, guys, about StarCraft 3 and the franchise, past, present, and where it could end up in the future. You guys can check out all of my StarCraft content here. StarCraft obviously has a very close place in my heart, guys. This was what my channel really started as. My channel started as Zero StarCraft. I would cast StarCraft 2 pro games, and we did that consistently for an entire year at the beginning of the YouTube channel in July of 2018, and did it for a year, and then it moved and it kind of evolved into obviously commentaries around StarCraft and things of that nature, and the future of StarCraft. And now we've expanded to all kinds of games, and we talk about just gaming, esports, entertainment as a whole. And that being said, though, StarCraft still has a very close place in my heart. Is this a title that we could get in the future? And the short answer, guys, is that I'm feeling, pretty, it's unfortunate, to say the least, that we haven't had a StarCraft 3 announced, this past year in 2021 or before that. Obviously, I believe that StarCraft 3 needs to happen. With a lot of games, guys, it comes in threes, right? You get, a trilogy, and then you may or may not have a continuation depending on how good the game gets received. And so we never got that. Obviously, we had the expansions with StarCraft 2, which were absolutely incredible. StarCraft 2, in my opinion, is one of the greatest games ever made. And I've always just wanted to see a continuation of StarCraft moving forward, in the form of StarCraft 3. I think StarCraft 3 would be something really special, guys, to continue bringing more notice and exposure to the real-time strategy genre. I mean, it is StarCraft 2 being the real-time strategy game of our time, and I would have loved to see a continuation there. It seems like Blizzard has no plans to really continue, StarCraft 3. Now, maybe it's something that'll get announced here in 2022. I certainly hope so. I'm not going to bank on it, though, guys. Obviously, we as the community need to voice our opinion to the developers that we want another StarCraft made. The developers have stated many times that, hey, if the community wants a StarCraft 3, then that will be something we'll start talking about. And I have been very critical of the StarCraft community in a number of ways. One way is I believe that they've been very complacent with StarCraft 2. They don't want to try to veer off from StarCraft 2 because they don't know if StarCraft 3 would be of the caliber of StarCraft 2. To me, though, guys, it really comes down to we as a community need to get StarCraft 3 made, because if not, you'll never know whether or not a StarCraft 3 would be better or of the same as StarCraft 2 on that same echelon. But the idea, though, is that if you get a StarCraft 3, you'd have another 10 years of StarCraft that's being supported by the developers. The esports scene could continue to evolve into something, really amazing. But we'll never get that if StarCraft 3 is not made. And then, of course, the partnership with DreamHack and all of that within the esports scene for StarCraft 2 is going to be coming to a close here in 2022. And so that's where, to me, it's feeling like this could be the end of StarCraft 2 as we know it from an esports perspective, which is really what's keeping the entire community afloat with StarCraft. And that's why I think a StarCraft 3 needed to be announced in 2021. But let's just say, it's better late than never, I guess. I would love to see a StarCraft 3 at least announced, where obviously StarCraft 3, what could it do for the community, guys? Well, first of all, obviously you could be adding new races, which I think would be absolutely awesome. Of course, guys, it could really put more exposure once again on the real-time strategy genre. StarCraft 2 really transcended us into the esports, world. It really kind of started that esports push. And then, of course, now it's been really left in the dust with other games that have come to the forefront. The other thing it could do, of course, is if we talk about esports, it could, go in a direction where, of course, you still have the 1v1 element to the esports scene, but I think they could really incorporate more of the team versus team element, which is what so many people love when it comes to a viewership perspective. So many people like watching the team versus team element. I think adding that into the esports realm of StarCraft 3 could be really awesome as well. Also, StarCraft 2, guys, has had a shaky history from the cheating that happened early on in the esports scene, which really hurt StarCraft 2 moving forward, because obviously a lot of sponsors and teams moved out of StarCraft after we were seeing all the match fixing that was going on, really with StarCraft 2's Heart of the Swarm. And I think that that sour taste in a lot of people's mouths would change with StarCraft 3. Think of Halo, guys. Halo Infinite comes out, and it brings back so many people. When these past installments of Halo, it kind of lost that esports scene, and lots of sponsorships and different teams had left the scene. Now they've come back into Halo Infinite. So all it takes, guys, is one game to get you right back to where you were. And StarCraft 3, I'm not saying that would be as good as StarCraft 2, but I think that you'll never know. And if you just stay complacent, which, like I said, I've been very vocal and critical of the StarCraft community being complacent with StarCraft 2, not voicing their opinion that they think a StarCraft 3 should be made. And that's been a real problem, in my opinion. I would love to see at some point or another, guys, we get a StarCraft 3 and we at least see, because the thing is that at the end of the day, if StarCraft 3 isn't as good as StarCraft 2, we can always go back to playing StarCraft 2, but at least we can move forward into that direction. I'm not banking on it, guys. Like I said, having a StarCraft 3 announced here in 2022 with all the changes going on with Blizzard, all the issues, of course, with Activision, I'm not really banking on it. They're kind of moved on to other games. That being said, what are some studios that are working on some, real-time strategy games? The first one that comes to mind is Frost Giant Studios, guys. They're making a kind of what seems to be a spiritual successor to StarCraft, which I'm really excited about. I can't wait to see what that looks like. It's from a lot of the developers of, guys who worked on StarCraft 2 and the StarCraft universe, as well as girls. And I'm very excited to see what Frost Giant Studios has got for us at some point in the future. I don't know how many years down the road it's going to be, but that's what I'm really excited about. It's disheartening to me to see one of my favorite franchises of all time continue to kind of just diminish. And slowly but surely, it feels like we're on that last leg, potentially, of the esports scene, which I believe StarCraft 2 esports, regardless of what happens, so StarCraft 3 being announced or not, needs to continue into the future and needs to be supported. I just don't know if that's what's going to happen, guys. I'm going to continue doing my part, though, trying to echo StarCraft 3 into existence. I'm going to continue, talking and trying to get this game made, talking to the developers, talking to other people within the community about trying to get it made. It's definitely something I want to do. And if you want to get StarCraft 3 made, you have to voice your opinion, whether that's on social media, talking to the developers, whatever it is, guys. We have to get StarCraft 3 made. And if not, I just feel like this community is going to slowly but surely diminish. But that's just one man's opinions. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think StarCraft 3 is something that is going to come at some point in the future? Or do you think it's going to be in a limbo state or a state of no return? Because obviously, guys, we've seen StarCraft 3, or I should say just StarCraft, a first-person shooter, was canceled twice. You had StarCraft Ghost and then a StarCraft first-person shooter that was supposed to be made. Both of those were canceled. So it's been in the back of Blizzard's mind to get something StarCraft made, but it just hasn't worked out at this point in time. Fingers crossed we get an announcement here in 2022. Let me know what you guys think, and for more StarCraft 3 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. A title I'm really excited about. It's interesting, we just got done talking about StarCraft 3, and this being a game that we wanted to really echo into existence. Dead Space, guys, is a title I've been talking about here on the YouTube channel for quite some time. Having a Dead Space 4, a continuation of some sort or another. And it's interesting because we had this title finally get made. And I do believe it was definitely the community who voiced that we need another Dead Space title. Similar to what I've been saying that the StarCraft community needs to do to get another StarCraft title made. Dead Space's community comes together, guys, creating petitions and different group chats and such on Facebook and other in different ways. And we've got Dead Space coming back, guys, in some capacity or another, which is super exciting. So I want to go ahead, guys, I want to talk in this segment of the show about 5 things we want in the new upcoming Dead Space title. We're going to break it down, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below, because these are going to be my thoughts and opinions and the 5 things I want to see. I'd love to hear the 5 things that you want to see out of the upcoming Dead Space title. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, guys, at number 1 for me, and this is always, the number 1 thing for me when it comes to a significant AAA title that's coming out, I want a full package. So what does that mean, guys? Well, we talk about it here on the YouTube channel all the time. That you want to have a campaign. Of course, you want to continue the legacy, the story of Dead Space, but you also want co-op modes, which we got in Dead Space 3 a little bit too little too late, in my opinion, with that title, but also multiplayer. So a full package is campaign, co-op, and multiplayer modes. I want to see a full package here with the upcoming Dead Space title, or Dead Space 4, whatever you want to call it. And that being said, I think it's really important that we have all of those elements in this title, because what's going to happen is after you beat the campaign once or twice, if there's not other ways to connect with this universe, you're going to move on to other games. If you have co-op modes, you'll play with your friends a couple of times through, or play maybe waves and waves of necromorphs, kind of like Gears of War's Horde mode. Or having multiplayer where you're PvP, where you're playing against other people in the world, or even playing against PvE, whatever it may be, just different ways to connect and continue playing the title is very important. Coming in, guys, at number 2 for me, I would love to see, obviously they go back to the roots of Dead Space, but at the end of the day, I really want them to have differences and similarities. So I think that what I want to see is certainly to have that very unnerving experience of being on these ships and on these different areas, planets and such, where it's very, tight corridors, very, unnerving experiences. But I also would like to see, anytime you go outside, if you do in the game, that there's a semi-open world feel. So a semi-open world would be very interesting to me in certain capacities of this story. Not so much where, I obviously want them to go back to what was Dead Space, the roots of Dead Space, but I also wouldn't mind seeing a semi-open world when you're outside. Number 3 for me, guys, This is one that, very well might be a little bit controversial, but I'd love to see Dead Space be free to play or have one of their elements be free to play. We see so many games nowadays that are going free to play in some capacity or another. So I would love to see Dead Space kind of take a page out of that book where maybe the campaign and the co-op modes you have to pay for, but the multiplayer's free to play, similar to that of like Halo Infinite, Call of Duty Warzone, so on and so forth. And so I'd like to see like some free to play elements here, because then it's going to get people to at least just try the game out, which I think is a really good thing when it comes to continuing to build the fan base and the franchise that is Dead Space. So I think that's going to be very important here with this upcoming title. And then, guys, coming in at number 4 for me, I think it's really important that this title sets up the next generation of Dead Space titles. I mean, my hope is that they've got another trilogy planned, that they've got an entire plan laid out outside of just this one game, that they're going to really bring back Dead Space in a major way. Not just like this one game comes out and then we don't hear from Dead Space in the next, number of years. I'm hoping that there's a real plan here to really take us into the next generation of Dead Space titles, and that's something I'm really excited about. And, coming in, guys, for me, very last but not least, number 5. One of the things I think it's really important that they did a really good job of in the first 2 Dead Space games was customization, where you were able to like customize Isaac Clarke over the course of the story. And I would love to see them that kind of elevated in a major way here with the new Dead Space title, where you're able to customize Isaac Clarke, but then that can transfer over to the co-op modes. That can transfer over to the multiplayer. So you can really start customizing your character. And I think that would be really awesome, because I think there's so many different options here. I'd love to see new weapons. I'd love to see new enemies, some old enemies, of course, like the old necromorphs and such, but I'd also like to see some new enemies, some new bosses. And so I think that would be really awesome as well. But the customization to me is really key, because that's going to bring you back to the experience a lot as well. If there's a lot of ways and the different customization trees, so to speak, that you can, upgrade Isaac Clarke over time or upgrade your character in multiplayer, I think that would be absolutely awesome. But with that being said, guys, those are the 5 things that I want to see out of the new upcoming Dead Space title. What do you want to see? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Dead Space content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the 8 Below Show. Guys, if you guys want to, I would definitely recommend, because I love having real conversations with all of you, whether it's here on YouTube in the comment section down below, or on one of the 3 social media platforms I'm on. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at @0_TV. You guys can check out my Twitch channel, which is at @0_TV as well. Guys, I'm very active on my social media. I'd love to have real conversations with you guys. You guys can check out my official merch. That'll be in the description down below. You guys can check out my other 2 YouTube channels, that being 02 and 03. 02, guys, is where you're going to be able to see and hear about all the upcoming movies and TV shows and things of that nature in that world, which I'm really excited about. Daily content over there. And I would love to hear and get your guys' opinions on that. And as we continue, guys, moving into this new year and such, I want to just say thank you so much to everybody for all the support you guys have given me. And if you guys are new to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, guys. You get notified every single time that a new video goes up. Leave a thumbs up, though, guys. That helps me out in a major way. Subscribe if you're new. Stay positive. Just keep grinding. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.